Yo, what's going on? Jared James 4 here. Just bringing you a little Valerie build video. I pretty much just use the same build on Valerie all the time right now. But there's a lot of different ways you could choose to play her, especially depending what time. I mean, obviously, like the beginning of the game was different. They had infinite Molotov Valerie, and you didn't really need vaccines, so yellow boost, like, I actually, debuff was my favorite skill. You know, I'm gonna start from here, because most of her skills are useful in some sort of way. Um, Remedy is probably just, like, kind of the best one of these, though. Just because of Infection and Alex, and just how strong Infection is right now in general. Like, you could throw a viral canister on Annette or Daniel, and it's really gonna suck if you don't have a Valerie that has Remedy. So that's kind of the best one, so that's what I use. Spray gun, it used to be a lot better. I mean, now the spray gun kind of sucks just because of Alex, at least for quick match. Like, if you want to counter someone and you're playing against a Nikolai, you could use spray gun or enhancing. Spray gun used to only have like a 90-second base cooldown, I think it was, so it was like really OP during the first like 3 weeks of the game. And then enhancing, obviously it's basically the same as Remedy, just you get a yellow herb effect. So if you're like a yellow boost Val, that's a good thing. Or, I mean, if you're just trying to counter a Nikolai in quick match or something, this would be a good way to go as well. But I definitely prefer Remedy. As far as the scan goes, creature scan all the way. Trap scan, kind of useless. Like, just look at the floor. Uh, it's not completely useless. Like, I've been in solo queue or like duo or trio queue in the past, and a Valor had trap scan, and it was actually kind of useful. Uh, but creature scan is just too strong. Camera scan, that actually can be quite useful. I've seen some people pull it off quite nicely. But if you're gonna have camera scan, you definitely want to make sure you have like 2 damage dealers on your team at least, because it's gonna be a lot harder to deal with the creatures. Yeah, and then vaccine all the way, because just Infection Alex and just how strong Infection is in general. I mean, because even if it's like a Net or a Daniel with Viral Can, you're gonna cough. Like, if you send Sam and Tyrone in to kill a horde, you're gonna cough in the middle of that horde, and that's gonna cause you to take bites and everything, and you're gonna stalled. Vaccine, you can eat that blue herb. It gives you like 10 seconds or something of just immunity to getting infected. So like, if you vaccine up, Valerie scans the horde, and the melee bros can just plow through uninterrupted. Uh, it's very useful. Yellow boost obviously is a good skill, but it's just Infection's too strong, and I don't think like it's needed that much. Uh, because just because you're not yellow boost doesn't mean you should never have yellows. Like, you still save a yellow for when there's a bio weapon out or whatnot. You're gonna get extra defense boost from that alone. I mean, I think yellow boost is like the equivalent of 2 supplements. So, I mean, you could even, if you wanted to go best of both worlds, you could do vaccine with 2 supplements. I used to love debuff. This was my favorite skill until Infection started to get stronger. I just loved playing against like a Buffanet or something, having a Matilda and just debuffing everything, or even an Alex. Like, a debuff can still kind of work against Infection Alex, but you just have to commit to debuffing every single infectious creature at a very high rate. Um, Healing Aura, pretty lame. That's like a rank 1 skill. And then I still use Nullify. Trap Alex you're not going to come across that often anymore, but this is still useful even against Nikolai's and just Alex in general and other masterminds. Because a lot of people will have Trap Explosion presets, or just, especially Nikolai's going to have a lot of Trap preset, like high explosives or a shock trap, where if you shoot it and you're too close, you're going to get stunned, and that means Nikolai's going to goop you or just machine gun you. Just like if it's Lin Kuei and you shoot out a high explosive and you're stunned off that, you take the damage off it, you're stunned, he's gonna whip out a gun, he will kill you. So Nullify is still nice for Nikolai even, just because of a trap preset. And you get more time back from trap explosions, like if you see one and you can shoot it all out. If there's 3 traps, it's 30 seconds, versus if you don't have it and you shoot it out, you only get 10. You actually still could get more time, like if you bought a grenade to take it out, or sometimes if you're running metal solvents and all that, your shot will take out 2 traps at once. So you could get like 20 seconds back even without it. Black Taurus, I never use. I've seen some people use this and pull it off. It's not my thing. Counterattack, this used to be really good back when it actually allowed you to have infinite grenades, molotovs, flashbangs, whatever you wanted. Now it's kind of whatever. You could still use this to counter Nick, just based on the fact that it gives you guaranteed flashbangs. And Surplus, obviously still, like, this was king at launch. Still a good skill, like, especially if you're not worried about, like, if you don't really care about Trap Alex, you're just gonna take your L's to Trap Alex, use Surplus, definitely. As far as equipment goes, I always got the same stuff on now. Metal Solvent, First Aid Spray, Smartwatch, and Dog Tag. There's a lot of different ways you could do her equipment, though. I realized in the Tyrone video I didn't explain the equipment that much. Like, Dog Tag is a good thing to have on Tyrone, just because you're gonna have to buy a shotgun or a Raiden sometimes, and that gives you gun damage as well as gun crit chance. First Aid Spray is just for Nick, at least if you're playing a damaged Tyrone. If I played USB Tyrone, I just ask my teammates to put on a First Aid Spray so that I could play, just so that I could have Dog Tag on USB Tyrone even. And then Dog Tag, same thing with Valerie. I mean, you could probably put on FMJ instead, because you're not really gonna have a melee weapon too often on Valerie. But every now and then, if it's just like a for fun game, I do like to get a sledgehammer on Valerie. So Dog Tag's nice for that. The other thing it's nice for is your crit chance. Like, the FMJ is obviously gonna give you better base value. But sometimes you can get like really lucky with Dog Tag, get 4 crits in a row, and it just melts a core. Having some sort of damage on Valerie is nice in the event that you got to solo a core, because if you, even with just Dog Tag, if you eat a yellow and then scan the core and you're using a shotgun, I think you're doing around like it's anywhere from 1200 to 1500 a shot, with like you're critting for like, I think it's 1500 and then you crit for 1900, something like that. So it really helps. Like 2 shotgun clips, sometimes 1.5 is gonna kill a core as Valerie, just with a Dog Tag, just because of her scan and if you save a yellow. Smartwatch, just a good thing to have on Valerie, gives you extra herb drops and gives you extra credits. Some people run more credits, so you could do Lucky Charm 3 on top of Smartwatch. First Aid Spray, again, just Nikolai, Trap Alex, you know, those sweaty meta builds where someone's guaranteed to go down at some point. You gotta come with a First Aid Spray. And then because I'm a Nullify Val, that's my preference, I always have Metal Solvent 2 on. There are other ways you can play Val, though. There's people that run like double supplement Valerie with vaccine. There's people that go all out on credits. You could change out dog tag for skateboard if you wanted to move a little faster and get some more knockback power. Yeah. It's just any other. I used to love energy drink on Valerie. Honestly, at launch, I was a surplus debuff Valerie with 2 energy drinks. That way I could get my scan back every 17 seconds. Because, like, at launch, it was mostly just creatures. You just had a gun dispenser to worry about every now and then. So, uh, I packed these energy drinks for creatures. Because it was mostly creatures. And if you had a scan with 2 energy drinks, your scan came back in like 17 and a half seconds, something like that. So really useful. Essentially, like, your scan lasts for 15 seconds too. So if you scanned a horde, there would only be 2 seconds in between where things weren't scanned. Of course, if they spawn something after you scan, that's not going to be scanned for the whole 17 seconds. Mixtape, another useful thing to have on Valerie, just get her ult back faster. The other thing, though, to note is your ult comes back faster based on the damage you put out. So blowing out cameras or just dealing damage to creatures is going to get your ult back faster. So just as good as Mixtape gives you an obvious guaranteed percentage of a cooldown. I think Mixtape 3 is like 20%, or they might have nerfed it even lower than that. I can't remember. But having extra damage on Valerie also means you would get your ult back faster. Because I think it's like 2,000 damage equals 3 seconds off your fever skill cooldown time. So just having any sort of damage also helps to get your fever skill back faster. Is there any other equipment I would use on here? I've seen some people go like camera scan, EMP2 Valerie, Black Taurus. It's not really my thing, but they pulled it off pretty well. Yeah. And then you could even come with like a... No, that's pretty much it. Yeah, alright. That's all I really have to say about Valerie. Thanks for watching, guys.